What is up, my Z followers? I know I haven't made a video in quite a while. People have been getting on me for not posting on like any of my platforms for a fat minute. So this will be a installment of the series and also an update on my life because I just haven't seen y'all in a while. So today we're going to talk about the 11th Amendment, which is basically sovereign immunity, meaning that you can't sue a state for purposes of money. For I think other things, I think you can sue, but for purposes of money, you can't sue a state. And this came actually after a Supreme Court ruling that you could sue a state as long as it was not your own state. I mean, as long as it wasn't outside of your own state. So like you could sue your own state. And this came because some man sued Georgia, I think, because they owed him compensation from his time in the Revolutionary War. And they said that you could do that, but this says you can't sue any state. And this includes Puerto Rico. You cannot sue Puerto Rico for financial and monetary issues, but you can sue American Samoa and Guam and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you on that part because it's really kind of a boring amendment. Doesn't come up very often, and there's no real weird history behind it. It's just don't sue states. And so the update on my life is the last video, not last video, but a few videos back I was talking about my experience with college and how it ruined my life. You know, committing to a college, and actually I'm wearing a DU sweatshirt. And it's a lot more complicated than that than I said in the video before because it did suck. That was one of probably a really bad day for me. And I was talking with my therapist about it and I realized that it's not because that dream of freedom was taken from me by my family, but it's because I didn't want to go to college in the first place. You know, I never actually have wanted to go to college. I don't have any future dreams for myself. The only thing I wanted was like to escape from my family and you know, and even though I didn't want to go to college, that was like my best escape, and it still is, and I'm going to enjoy a lot of freedoms once I'm at college and out of the house and out of Washington, and so I'm excited for that, but I'm also nervous for that, but it wasn't the, you know, it's polluted by these people now, it's the, I just sealed my fate on something I never wanted to do. And I'm not saying that college is bad. I mean, I have a lot of complex opinions on college. I think I've voiced in this on the channel before, but that was more the reaction, not the it's gonna be bad now because my parents did something about it. It's the I didn't actually want to do this and now I'm doing this and I'm scared because what if it was the wrong decision, you know, because college is a very, very serious choice. It's a very expensive choice and time consuming, and it's like, what if I just put myself in all this debt for something that I didn't want to do and didn't end up being worthwhile. And I mean, I guess everything is worth doing because it helps you learn about yourself in the long run. And I am excited, you know, to get this freedom. A lot of my parents are happy for me and I enjoy the celebration process of being a senior and going to college. And I'm glad everybody's happy for me. But at the same time, it's like, do I deserve this happiness if this is something that I'm not really wanting to do? But it really just depends, and I realized last night that when I have these like really, really bad depressive days, everything I'm saying is true, you know? Everything, when I'm taking a mean, that's how I interpret it, that's true, but when I have these good days, those are also true. And it doesn't need to be one's more true than the other. They can both exist together, and I think that's something that is hard for me and a lot of people to comprehend and sit with and accept because we're always taught that there's one right answer, that there's always a definitive correctness, and especially since me, I depend a lot on how to do things correctly. What is the correct way to do things? That's like my coping mechanism for a lot of my trauma, and my therapist also says maybe a form of OCD is why I, you know, that's how I've developed for this to cope with my trauma. And you know, it has to be weird realizing that I can be both excited to do something and completely scared and resenting it at the same time. But I think that's something that we don't think a lot about, is that we're not experiencing one emotion at one time. We can experience all these different thoughts and feelings, and a lot of times they do conflict, and that's a part of life. And sometimes the best part of life is realizing that you can't explain it, you know? I just like beat philosophy right there. There is no explanation because everything is so contradictory. You can't just, there's not one solution for life or for any of your existential life questions. They just are. And that's terrifying because you can't explain something so big. But through all those terrifying moments, you're always going to get through them. Because there are moments when they aren't terrifying. And those are the moments that you live for. So, I'm just happy to come on here and say all of that. Thank you so much for listening to me. Have an excellent day. So long, thanks for all the fish. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.